hardest working man in all of the world came out and said, oh, it's the Admirals. All right. I got breaking news. It is the Admirals. So then there was an entire conversation about whether or not the Admirals would be a good name. But there was this one company, I think called Chop Sports Media, who actually had logos and designs for the Commanders just months ago, I think.
Yeah.
Tweeting out that this is going to be the name. And the internet said, there's no way that this company knows exactly what it is. How has the internet figured out this name that has been withheld from us for years almost at this point? Then a news chopper zooms in on a building or on the stadium where it clearly has Commanders on it. It's like, there's no way they're going to let us find out about this before 2/2/22 with how much has been done with red herrings and buying of patents and trademarks that weren't the case. There's no way we've been able to figure it out this easy. Then we woke up this morning, there was an announcement, and ladies and gentlemen, we are now in the era of the Washington Commies, the red team in the nation's capital. The Washington Commanders are about to take the entire NFL.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in Matawan, New Jersey. Sturch, Gooch, Dina, Anthony in the building for another jam-packed episode. First and foremost, thank you, Mr. McAfee. Thank you very much. What a moment for us here. We saw it literally, technically live. We started getting tags. Yo, you just got to shout. Yo, hurry up, go look at this. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I looked at it, and lo and behold, there it is. We really appreciate it. Pat McAfee Show is the show that we tune into day in and day out just to watch because we think he's one of the real ones. He's one of the down-to-earth guys that aren't like...
It's basically the reason we chose 11 o'clock.
Right, because we wanted to go right before McAfee.
We wanted to go before McAfee for two reasons. One, we don't want to compete against him just yet.
I mean, we're not competing against him.
But you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I want to watch the show. I don't want to be working. It's one of the few concessions I make in my life.
Yeah. So his show is great. His entire staff is great. His entire model of what they got going on over there, very, very, very similar and influential to what we got going on over here. As far as like, we want a staff, we want an Anthony, we want 5 more people in the studio right now looking up stuff and have personalities. That's all going to happen with time. But again, thank you to Pat McAfee for putting us up. Just for that 1 minute, and all of a sudden, our internet and our socials were abuzz, and a lot of people were dropping lines and stuff like that.
So thank God he did that, because he literally saved the day. How disappointing would it have been? I was in a conversation with Ken last night, and he was like, did anybody else give you guys the credit or the burn? And nobody did. And I was thinking about it at that moment. I'm like, could you imagine if McAfee didn't go the extra mile? Because he really did. He didn't just mention us. He delivered.
He did.
He drove it home.
He did drive it home.
He had the cosign in the background. The guy's like, yeah. One of his hammered down guys.
Yeah, dude, that show moment. Again. Great show. We watch it every day. Like, we usually put it up on the big screen. If not, we're watching it on the computer. But yes, it's very, very important to us, and it really does inspire us. And it just really spiraled into a good day. We want to thank Amber for being here, captured a live moment. That was literally like organic feel. Like, that was that moment where I was like, oh my God, like that was exactly what I needed. Remember the one time Pat McAfee didn't mention me by name, but put my tweet on the air, it was a sinking feeling.
No, I was also saying, like, we need to be on the Pat McAfee Show.
Yeah.
We need to reach out. We did kind of loosely reach out yesterday, but I think today after the show, we need to get on that.
Somebody actually sent me, and I don't know how accurate it is. Somebody sent me the address to that studio. So I want to send Pat a bunch of stuff and a thank you letter for putting us out. He might not think anything of it. Well, he might have just said it real quick and said, like, look, I'll never say Chop Sports again.
The way I'm looking at it is that because of the fact that you did kind of break Washington football team news a couple of years ago.
I did.
And they put your tweet up.
They
and then
did.
It's like, that's an in right there to say, hey, look, there was one time in the past with Washington that you guys gave us, you in this case, a little bit burn. And then this case, so now it's like there's a little bit of a connection. We're fans of the show. AJ Hawk, I've met him a bunch of times. I could bring up some things that he might actually remember being outside the Lambeau facilities. I think it would be a good content-driven thing. I really do. And they're always looking for interviews and content. They have a 3-hour show to fill.
That's true.
And there's like a thing on the wall as you walk into the studio, and it's like you miss 1,000% of the shots you don't take or whatever. So we gotta
take a shot. Why not? So good morning to those watching right now. I think Ashley was first as always, and then of course you got Mike Mercado. My brother came in here. He's around here somewhere. Scoop's in the house. Mark, Vinny, Judy, the legend is here. Gio got.
I love her comment. Gio got schooled because he did
so funny.
dig at Boomer a little bit.
It's so funny. Like, yes, I didn't want to bring that up because I don't know if it's like, I don't know. It's kind of pertinent to the situation. Right before that right before McAfee mentioned Chop Sports, he mentioned that Boomer was wrong. And Boomer Esiason is a part of the Boomer and Gio show in the morning. And Gio was the one that called and made fun of us because I called us a forum. And he, kind of downplayed it, hung up the phone, and made fun of me after that. Who's laughing now? I think, honest to God, I know New York media is top. It's the mecca. The morning show in New York is probably streamed throughout the country, right? Like, that's just one of those popular shows. But I root for guys like Pat McAfee show, where we see the watch count when we're watching. I'm like, dude, there's 35,000, there's 50,000, there's 75,000 people watching the show right now.
That goes without even saying the Sirius XM listeners.
Right.
So there's a lot of reach for the McAfee show.
So
good moment for us.
We're happy about it. And then on top of that, Amber's got some connects. And all of a sudden, Clinton Dix putting us over, saying, these guys thought ahead. They do their thing. Go Chop Sports. All of a sudden, he puts that on his story to his plethora of followers, and he retweeted us on Twitter. So we had a nice little day yesterday on social media. So with that, to celebrate that, you can also go to patreon.com/Chop Sports and become a Patreon member, because you know what? Sooner or later, we'll have exclusive content to just put out to those members. So definitely join up right there. And if you're watching this video right now, please do us a favor, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We did pick up a couple subs last night. We talked to Steve, our website guy. He said, by the way, had a little bit of an uptick on the website traffic yesterday. So a lot of cool shit. Look, is it going to make us overnight millionaires? No, it's not, but it's also very rewarding. What's up?
Rube coming into the comments talking shit about the dual Yankee hats. Let's do it. We got the Spider-Man meme. I go this way.
Yeah, well, we decided, both of us, to wear Yankee hats, navy blue hoodies, and black pants. That was totally by mistake. I don't talk to Gucci until I see him when I walk into the building. So, sometimes if there's something crazy going on, we'll talk before, but normally, whatever. But we got a lot of baseball to talk about. We'll get into that in a little bit. But yes, patreon.com/Chop Sports to support us. Actually, help out our intern right now. If you're on LinkedIn for whatever reason, follow Chop Sports Media on LinkedIn, because Anthony is going crazy on that thing. And I'm basing his grade. Not that I'm like a teacher, but like, he's going to have a review, he told me, in a couple weeks from his university. And they're going to talk to me on how he's doing. I'm like, well, he didn't do anything for our following count, so he's not doing any good.
little piece of advice. Give them my number. I'll give you the review.
Dude, I'm going to give him a glowing review. Are you kidding me? He's so good.
Of course.
In any event. So yeah, that's how to support Chop Sports. What was that?
I said, I'm sad we don't get to keep him.
We might.
I think that
there's opportunities for him to grow here.
Conversation with giving Anthony that extendo.
We're going to give him an extension.
Contract.
And you know what? Sources have said within the building and the organization that there is an extension being worked on.
A vital piece of our growth over the past couple weeks. So we
unless,
thank Anthony.
I mean, Anthony's great and he's doing wonderful things here, and he's been here for a couple weeks, but like, once upon a time, the sauce came in, swooped somebody right out of under us.
That was I think the timing was right on.
The timing was absolutely right on that one.
And there was no college credits that were being.
There was no college credit. There was just a lot of food.
Yeah,
we were just
chicken Caesar wraps,
Caesar wraps,
some pizza fries. But that's more your thing.
Matt Ibanez coming in. He is the host of the Mets podcast. So, and he says you're crushing it on LinkedIn. He's bringing it up right now because he probably saw the post. Right, you got it up already today.
Post the Mets show.
He posted the Mets thing today where they have Glendon Rush on the show, right? I censored myself. You like that? But yeah, so they got Glendon Rush, former Mets pitcher, on their show today. 2 weeks ago, they had Turk Wendell. So somebody's pulling some strings over there. And I shout out to you guys for busting your ass over at Till Mets Do Us Part. The downloads are up. You guys are killing it. Love it. Love it. Love to see it. You want to see more of the podcast network? Be sure to go check out the LinkedIn, because Anthony is all over that. Go check out the website, chopsportsmedia.com, for the entire lineup. Yeah, so that's all the plugs I got. But going into some of the stuff that we obviously talked about. Brian Flores yesterday. He goes on Get Up on
I know
ESPN.
what you're forgetting. What about this
What?
Super Bowl
Ah,
pool,
shit.
bro?
I knew. See,
Come
you got it.
on.
I can't steamroll this whole thing, baby.
Hey,
I
we
I
had
need your
talks
help.
about that. I'm here for you. Bro.
Okay, here we go. So pull up Super Bowl pool. This is what we got going on here. Starting today.
In case you guys have never seen what a
In
Super
case
Bowl
you've
box
never
pool
seen
looks
Super
like,
Bowl
this
pool.
is. I just wanted to show my my
Your
handy graphics.
It's
work that I did
Artistic
last night.
skills here is the Super Bowl pool. It will be $50 a box. I know, sounds steep. Well, guess what? Tough shit. It's $50 a box, and for whatever
Not
reason,
that bad.
it doesn't sell. We'll break the boxes down, but I think it's gonna go.
It's gonna sell, bro.
So look,
what are you
boxes
talking about?
numbered 1 through 100. It's 1 across for 10, and then under the 1 is 11. So if you're a crazy person that needs to be in a certain spot, within, if it's not a number thing or it's a spot thing, that's how you're gonna do it. You're gonna PayPal Chop-Sports $50 to get in, or as many boxes as you want to buy.
I will say
Danny
that-
says he's in.
I will say
Scoop
box
just took number 13.
Box
That's
number
gonna
12
piss
is
Danny
gone.
off.
Box number 12 is gone.
All right,
We'll
I'm
say that
taking
off the
you-
rip.
yeah, you can take. We can take. Well, you know what? Let's not claim any boxes here.
No, I'm claiming
pick mine
not
when I
you.
win.
I'm talking about them.
Fuck you.
Talking about them.
Also,
dude.
we're gonna do another thing that we did last year, which I think was also very vital to the growth of Chop Sports at the time. And
The
I think
Facebook
we're in
group
another
alone.
we're in another position right now where we could use a little bit of growth and an influx of followers and subscribers. So we're gonna do a giveaway thing where it's a free entry into a Chop Sports Super Bowl box pool where you only have to do a couple things like subscribe and share something.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
you'll
yeah.
get in with some nice cash prizes there as well.
Yes. So Super Bowl pool is going to be available. It'll be on this the Facebook group. I know, Danny, you don't have Facebook, so therefore I might give my brother 13 because Scoop has plenty of other options. So we'll decide about that because that's also my brother's number. So you got to be careful with that one, Scoop. And he said he'll fight. He's got one leg, so you might be up. He might be up on that fight. So we'll see. So the info is going to be up on the Chop Sports Facebook group. So thank you guys in advance for joining the Super Bowl pool. Like Gooch just alluded to, there'll be 2 of them. One for cash prizes, one for more than less merchandise, or maybe an Amazon gift card, something. We'll figure it out, but there'll be rules to join that. All right, now we'll get back into the world of sports, and it starts with yesterday. We talked about Brian Flores, the lawsuit, the class action lawsuit. Well, guess what? Clapping back is Mr. Stephen Ross.
This old
rickety man.
scummy bones.
Yeah,
right
he's
here.
just, you could just tell right off the just base. I know, don't judge a book by its cover, Dave, but this guy looks like an asshole.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
sorry.
there's a track record of this guy. I'm not sure he's a great person.
So anyway,
what do you say in his statement, guys?
So here's brief parts of his statement. He called this accusation from Brian Flores false, malicious, and defamatory.
defamatory.
I had it right. Defamation, basically. He calls it. He's calling out his personal integrity. He said, "I'm a man of honor, integrity, and I can't stand here and not say anything based off of this." Now, my question is this: Ken, for the love of God, stop asking for numbers over this thing. We will get you done right after this.
But that's a good indication that these boxes are going to sell.
Yeah, so he's going to buy friggin' $200 worth of boxes, my man. So my question is this, Gooch. Now, it's one thing for this guy to come out and say that, none of it's true, right? Now, the biggest allegation towards Stephen Ross is the $100,000 basically reward for tanking, right?
Yeah.
It's now Flores' word against Ross's word. How do you prove this? How does any of this get proved?
Well, Flores said that he had conversations with the team about it. So
he just needs witnesses?
I would say that there should be some team members that were playing on that team, specifically some vets that aren't around after that 2019 season, where they will back what Flores is saying. Not that wouldn't be anything more than hearsay, because I'm not sure that those teammates or team members were present and privy to those conversations that were allegedly happening. But I mean, looking back at it, and that's not an ode to A Boogie. Looking back at it, you definitely don't know what I was talking about there. But anyway,
Even
Anthony does. Anthony knows what I was talking about.
I'm not an OG like I
but
thought.
looking back at the 2019 season and the way the Dolphins were handling things at the front office, I definitely it looks to me like they were in full on tank mode. All right. I said
they're trading guys off.
that was basically the joke. You go back to Instagram and the social media world back then, the Dolphins were memed up every day about tanking and this and that. And who was it? It was actually tank for Tua. I'm pretty sure, right?
It was.
It worked. It
By
worked.
the way,
Is there like a
newsflash, it worked. You got your boy.
Yeah, so it wasn't Brian Flores' boy apparently though, because
No, he
as
wants
things
Deshaun
turned out.
Watson.
Well, look, there's a lot of hearsay. There's a lot of finger pointing when it comes to this. I'm surprised that Ross came out publicly and said anything when there's litigation pending. You have to.
You have to.
But at the same
Or
time,
at least get a lawyer to do it. Something.
well, I mean, there's some cases to be made about Brian Flores' selection of legal team too. I'm not
Two
so sure.
white guys.
It was two white
was like,
guys.
what
Hey,
the-
so you're sitting here, and I know that this is more or less
That was another meme.
tongue in cheek. It's like, bro, you're a black head coach fighting for rights of black head coaches getting hired, and then you hire two white lawyers. I mean, like, if
I don't know.
it doesn't make sense. It's there. It is a little bit counter.
Let's see. If Kyle coming in, if the Dolphins didn't fire Flores, he'd still be there coaching, ignoring all of these allegations. Dude, just angry snitching right now.
Yeah, but like I said yesterday, it doesn't seem like this wasn't thought out. This isn't a thing that they just pieced together. Maybe they can. I mean, I'm sure I make graphics in like 11 minutes before the show. I'm sure the lawyers could draft together a case.
There's actually, it's a 60-page
So
complaint.
they're
60 pages.
I wonder if they got how many Anthony's they got over there at that law firm working on that 60-page.
One for each
Oh,
page.
the
One for
60-page
each
lawsuit.
page.
So yeah, I'm surprised he came out and said something is what my initial statement was. Because of pending litigation. Obviously, he's going to defend himself. The NFL basically came out and said it on his behalf that all of the claims were unmerited or without merit. Look, this guy, just looking at him, he looks like he's a rich guy that takes advantage of people. and offering $100K to him is like wiping his ass with money because it's nothing to him.
Just
Obviously,
think about
he's
it.
a billionaire.
If you lost 10 games, you made $1 million in that season alone on top of your contract. So,
Bro, did you see there was a couple memes that I
Yes.
saw, and I know that I was trying to deliver this.
You were trying to explain it to me.
Explain the joke to you yesterday.
was
So
going,
it's like,
shoot.
so it was like, the coach offers you $100K to lose per game, and then it was like me, ... and then it was like Daniel, the Giants running a quarterback sneak up the middle, me every play, right? That's what you'd be doing. And then it was one where it was like Brian Flores getting 100,000 to lose, and then Hugh Jackson getting 50,000 to lose, who also is now saying that that was a thing he's co-signing. Let's talk about Des Bryant too in a little bit.
All right, go ahead.
Or let's not.
No,
Let's
go ahead.
not. No. I take it back, guys.
No, it's
we're
fine.
not going to talk about Des Bryant.
Do it.
No, we're
No.
not going to talk about Des Bryant. But what were we talking about?
You were talking about the meme
Flores.
with.
Oh, yes,
all right.
yes. Thank you, Dave.
Yes.
Adam Gase then was like, damn, you guys were getting paid
It's
to
the
lose?
kid from Where the
I
Millers.
really chopped up that joke. It took me like 30 minutes to get out one thing. But anyway, funny
man.
nonetheless. Adam Gase hasn't gotten a cent to lose, apparently.
No, not one. So yeah, I mean, look, again, this is going to go on and on and on, and there's going to be more allegations, and there's going to be more things to talk about and break down in this situation. But right now, as it stands, there's a denial, and then there's an accusation. So I guess right there is there. And that's it. Well, we're going to get into coaching in a second, but I want to bring up Scoop's thing. Scoop just can we talk about how Doug Peterson may be the new Jags head coach? And I don't think I'll watch football anymore. What are you talking about, bro? He came up with the Philly
Bro,
or
if
Philly
you-
special.
If you were able to get through Urban Meyer era, all
Era?
11 games, I think you can
That's an
handle
era?
Doug Peterson.
Can you believe that?
But honestly, the guy for the Jags, if I'm the Jags owner, which he's really
Tony
not
Khan?
that, he's not
No,
that
that's
great.
AEW's
He's not
owner,
that
sorry.
great at his job. I guess it's not really your job.
The
if
Khan
you're an owner.
family.
I don't think he knows what he's doing. But I would just hire Rich Bisaccia, because he brought a team.
Yeah.
He brought a team like the Raiders from
Did you see
bad situations.
Did
I
you
think he's
see
a
that-
perfect guy
that
to bring them
cornerback.
along.
I forget who it was, but he wrote this long, drawn out
Yeah.
Instagram
That's
post. Great stuff, dude.
basically
Tear-jerking stuff.
Basically, outside of the fact that he won games, he brought a team that was slightly less talented than the rest of the postseason teams. I would say
Yeah,
to the
that's
to the
fair.
playoffs in a situation dealing with what he dealt with, and then he's got the players that are coming out and saying things like that. That's the biggest cosign you could give
Yeah,
to a potential head coaching future for a guy like that. I think
100%.
the Jaguars are a perfect fit for Balsaccia.
I think so too. But the coaching that we want to get into is what happened last night. The word came out that Jim Harbaugh is heading back to Michigan. So I got a lot of things to say about this because
All Rutgers fans could take a breath of fresh air because Shiano is safe for one more season.
well, that too. But look, there was a lot of people that came out close to the situation that said that There was reports that Michigan fans and company people and just coaching staff were elated to hear about the Michigan decision to stay in school, kids. You know, so he's staying in Michigan. My question is this: Did he deny the Vikings, or did the Vikings say, you know what, this ain't gonna work?
Well, there's a couple.
That's where I'm
there's
at.
a couple scenarios here. There's the A that he was dead ass serious about leaving, and the Vikings were planning on hiring the guy that they're going to hire. I think is Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, from the
right?
Rams.
From the Rams, the offensive coordinator, which I did call out a couple weeks back.
You did.
Shameless plug for my football acumen right there. But yeah, I think it's funny. I'm going to make a joke about this. I'm going to see if I can deliver this a little better than my last one. So if the Vikings did in fact have their guy already, and they just brought in Jim Harbaugh as a sham interview, does he have a case to make a lawsuit against the Vikings for bringing him out?
Jesus,
no.
bad joke.
Or let's say,
well, just so you know, Brian Merlo coming in saying allegedly the Vikings didn't even give him an offer. So there was no offer on the table.
And he came out and said, look, I'm very confident that I'm going to be the head coach. But you know who probably did up the offer or give him a big raise? Michigan.
Wolverines,
so
of course.
Is it a money grab the entire time? Was he ever going to leave? I can't imagine it being a money grab for a guy that's getting paid rather well, right? And the timing of it, where it was basically one of the biggest days in the country of the year for
they have the number
signing day.
Number 8 recruiting class in the country right now.
Jim Harbaugh flying to Minnesota on one of the bigger days for recruits to be signing is not a good look for Michigan.
Fringe, yeah.
I think the writing is on the wall that he's on his way out. If the Minnesota Vikings did offer him a job, he would be in Minnesota right now. I think his aspirations are to be back on an NFL team. He's been telling recruits that. I don't think that's going to change over the course of the next year. I don't care how much money is involved, because it's not like him leaving money on the table at Michigan is going to be him unemployed. He's going to go get NFL money or TV money or something like that. So Jim Harbaugh is
do you think maybe the job itself wasn't appealing to him to leave?
No,
Michigan?
that's a very, very appealing job out in Minnesota. Absolutely.
You think so? Kirk Cousins is your quarterback.
Outside of the Kirk Cousins situation, there is, look, Kirk Cousins is their quarterback. So they have an NFL quarterback, right? Now, as your as a head coach, you have to think that, well, I will go in and do a lot better than anyone else has, because Harbaugh is confident in his system. I don't know that Kirk Cousins and Jim Harbaugh will work out long term, but Jim Harbaugh and Kirk Cousins is worth kicking the tires on. First. Second, they have Dalvin Cook, right? Jim Harbaugh likes to run the football.
He does.
They have Alexander Madison, so their run game is there. They have Justin Jefferson, who we all talk about as maybe 1-1A with him and Jamar Chase as the best young wideouts in football. That's a very appealing job to go in there and like compete against teams like the Packers, the Bears. It's definitely
but a guy
appealing.
like Jim Harbaugh who wants the spotlight is what I'm saying. That's the appeal I'm talking about. Minnesota doesn't have that sex appeal. You know what I'm saying? Like, is Harbaugh going back because he figures, you know what, in a year, the Dallas Cowboy job's going to be available and I'll be the center of attention again? Look, I think it was Vinny. Yeah, Vinny said it before, said that, once he already kind of alluded to wanting to leave, that's going to happen again. You know, like, it's not, if he goes out there and coaches Michigan this year and doesn't even make the college football playoff.
Well,
what's
when
that
you
say
say
for
doesn't even, I mean, that's a tall order. He's probably not going to.
I'm saying
Ohio
back-to-back
State-
year. I mean, you would think that Michigan's in the conversation now with a program that can do it time and time again. And with the 8th ranked recruiting class, they're going to get better, you would think. You know, I don't know how many guys are losing, to the NFL draft or whatever, but like they are losing their best pass rusher. But Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback available of all the quarterbacks available.
Head coaching openings. Yeah, I would agree with that, because especially now, what do we got? Just the Jags, the Vikings,
and the Saints.
The Saints
don't have a
Saints
quarterback.
don't even have a
The
quarterback.
Texans have Davis Mills and or Deshaun Watson. We still don't know what the hell is going to happen with that. That's been brushed under and brushed away right now. Can you imagine? Like, that's the thing. The NFL is going to be juicy in this offseason. You're going to find out more about the Flores shit. You're going to find out more about the Watson stuff. You're going to all this stuff. And then, of course, you're going to have Rodgers watch, even though it's not much of a watch. But you're going to have all these storylines going in, and they're already starting to plant the seeds. So it's going to be an exciting offseason, maybe a little stressful for some. You'd rather work with Cousins than Lawrence. Okay, buddy.
No, of course not. But the thing about Jacksonville is that job is far less appealing, even with Trevor Lawrence. I'm not trying to go coach in Jacksonville just based on the way they've done things.
Now, if you're in a win now mode, do you ride with Cousins?
Jim Harbaugh is not the coach for Jacksonville. He's got to go to a team that has some ready-made talent and they're ready to go in there and compete, and he could see if he could put them over the hump, but he's not going to go there and fix something.
I'm just curious to know if the Vikings are settling at this point. Like, did they not woo him enough? I don't know. Like,
well, the reports are that they didn't offer him anything, that they didn't want him, which means to me that's I don't know. I feel like there had to be some kind of. You're telling me there's an interview with no numbers discussed? Like, there had to be something. There had to be something. You can't sit there and have this long, deep, drawn out conversation and not say, and by the way, your salary will also be this. You know what I mean? Like, we're willing to pay you this. So it's not really an official offer, but you can't be like, look, Minnesota's got a great facility, a great team, great leadership, great this. You'll love it here, right? It's all about money, man. You know what I mean? There had to have been some kind of monetization going on, or a little monetary number discussed, is what I'm saying. So now I'm thinking, are the Vikings settling for Kevin O'Connell? No,
I don't know.
I think the Vikings have had their eyes on this guy for a while. You didn't hear much talk about many coaches connected to the Vikings until the only thing that I did see was a little bit of Jim Caldwell early on, and then I saw both Rams coordinators. I saw Raheem Morris and Kevin O'Connell, and then the only other guy that I saw mentioned was Harbaugh. Definitely didn't see two people of color in that list. So I'm curious to know if they fulfilled their.
I don't know.
duties.
Stevie Mack coming in saying Aaron Rodgers just bought land in Nashville, is open to joining the Titans.
Yeah, so he's like preemptively buying land in a place. Come on,
he's got money. He can buy land everywhere.
Hey, I'll tell you this: his fiance lives in Boulder, Colorado, so that's more of a indicative as to him might be going somewhere than anything. It's not. Don't.
I guess Hawaii Mike is jumping in with a couple more details here. Harbaugh went in and explained how he enjoyed Michigan, but knew it was prudent to see what the market offered. Mutual agreement that wasn't the best fit for both. That's what he's reading. Harbaugh took the interview because he worked with the new GM when they were in San Francisco together. So there is a link.
Yeah.
There's your
so
link.
I was just going to speculate on that. I'm sure I want to know who's the guy in charge in Minnesota giving out interviews, and if it is in fact a money grab, which now that I'm kind of dissecting this whole thing, it does look like more of a money grab. And it was like, hey, you're the new GM in Minnesota. Why don't you release a statement saying that I'm coming there for an interview so Michigan ponies up a little more cash?
Kyle coming in real quick. I feel like coaches that have had previous NFL tenures don't find success at the second location. Don't have the numbers to back that up, but who has done good in the last 20 years? In that last 20 years and had success. So second location. Well, obviously,
Bill Belichick was terrible with Cleveland and then did really well.
I mean, that's the one example that jumps off the charts. There's been a couple legendary coaches that have done okay. Parcells, after he won the Super Bowl with the Giants, he went to the Patriots, took them to a Super Bowl.
Now, define success. It's like Andy Reid was with
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia went
second
to
stop
four,
was
then went
Kansas
to Kansas City. So there is a couple
Mike McCarthy,
cases, but
with the Packers. Now he's going to do wonders with the Dallas Cowboys. See, I can't even say that without even laughing or giggling because it's terrible.
So Andy Reid is definitely the most recent case that I could think of off the top of my head. Bruce Arians is another one, but how much success did he actually have in Arizona?
Was he the head coach when they went to the Super Bowl?
Who?
Arians.
Yeah, no, he was the offensive coordinator. I think maybe even for Pittsburgh at that point.
What?
Yeah.
Who coached Kurt Warner in Arizona? Wisenhunt?
I don't want to say.
I don't remember that.
I don't know if it was Bruce Arians just yet.
But I can tell you the coach of the Steelers was. Because he's been there forever, so it doesn't matter. It's Tomlin. All right. Anyway, I'd stay in coaching college until juicy offer comes from the NFL owner. That's coming from Mike, who, by the way, I got your message, bro. I'll be calling you right after the show. Yeah, I guess. I mean, look, the money is always going to be more lucrative. I don't know. Where do you think the more money is lucrative? The NFL or the college? College gives you the keys to the city.
It depends on the job. College coaching, you become more involved with certain things in terms of college coaching is very, very different. The NFL, these guys are millionaires, so you're having to coach men it's their job to come there. College football, you just have more control over literally everything. Like, you're basically setting curfews. It's different money wise. I guess in certain schools you're getting paid more, but once you're at that 10 million a year range,
Mike Martz,
it doesn't matter where you're going. Mike Martz never had success in the first.
No, he was asking I was answering a quick question real quick. And Wisenhunt is confirmed from two sources. It's Kyle and it's Stimmy OG in the house. They're saying it was Wisenhunt was the coach when the it just sounded like I was from Minnesota right there. He was the coach.
But yeah, I think the NFL or college, it depends. Like big conferences, the SEC is paying these coaches hefty. and some bad NFL teams aren't paying their coaches all that much. Like Dan Campbell isn't getting paid what the Nick Saban's getting.
True.
So it really just depends on the
where
scale, where you're at, the budget for the school, how much your teams are earning for the school.
Yeah, makes sense. Scoop came in before, said Coughlin did great for the Jaguars and then awesome for the Giants. That's true too. He was the first coach, and then he went out and won a Super Bowl.
So bad take, Sauce.
I mean, not a bad take, but there's probably a nice 2 handfuls of legendary coaches that have done better things. But maybe in the grand scheme of things, for all the coaches that have had 2 stops, maybe the percentages are still in his favor. We don't know. I'm just saying, just overall. I don't want to like dismiss his take. I think the most horrible take he has to back up is the second contract for quarterbacks thing. I hate it. I know it's true, but I still hate it. I don't like arguing with this, and I'm not about to open up that can of worms right now because I don't feel like it.
I mean,
what?
The Pat Mahomes eliminate. It rings true.
I know it rings true.
Although Stafford, he's on like his 3rd contract, but it's not. I'm sure there's restructures and there's an extension that is team friendly in there. So
he did say he didn't have the numbers to back it up. So he's coming out saying, "Here's my take," but I don't know if it's true at all. All right, so that is the coaching stuff today because we had Wade Phillips has been mediocre everywhere he goes. Very true, Vinny. He was mediocre for the Cowboys. Had himself a 12-4 1 seed Cowboys led team when we lost to the Giants.
I'll take him tomorrow as my D coordinator, though.
Fucking Wade Phillips, the Michelin man.
Great defensive coordinator.
Great defensive coordinator.
Wade Phillips
right.
is well respected in the league, and it's crazy to me that some of these guys, because they have failed stops as head coaches, they lose the respect in the public eyes. But Wade Phillips, any of Wade Phillips' players love playing defense for Wade Phillips.
Josh McDaniels left New England, had a terrible run, if you wouldn't even want to call it that, with Denver. Goes back to New England to like sit there and play puppy to Bill Belichick, and now he's back coaching with the Raiders. So I'm interested to see.
But yes, Kyle, as far as you're talking about the Stafford thing, I was under the impression that he did restructure as well. So yes, that doesn't necessarily. It's the same as like a Peyton or a Brady winning at the back end, or even Eli for that matter.
Ken Paulman dropping the worst coach of all time, Richie Kotite. So he was literally, oh my God, you can give him the all-star team. Speaking of that, Pro Bowls this weekend. Anybody care? I'm curious. It would be so much better if there was a skills competition, like the quarterback challenge. I'd watch that in a heartbeat. The Pro Bowl, no, forget that it's
even
on.
that stuff it's fun. They should be doing that anyway, but they should have 7-on-7 and the Pro Bowl. Yeah, run flag football. Let's just do what they're doing anyway, because it is a 7-on-7 drill. The linemen aren't doing shit. They're not allowed to blitz. So they should be doing 7-on-7, and they should be able to let these athletic big guys that typically have to just be stuck in the middle. They should take all their helmets off, play in a flag football setting, but let the guards run out for passes and like let them have fun and play some football.
You want like just new rules set.
Yeah, like enough is enough. It's a violent sport. We don't need to see any more Drew Brees situations.
Dak Prescott was elected as an alternate and has chosen not to go because he's still banged up and hurt. So good for him. Over under 132.5. Right. Let's go. The final score here: 65-62 NFC. No,
so that's the under.
Yeah, hit the under. Oh man. All right. Well, that's the coaching. But I got to get to this because again, it's the name of the damn episode, because that's the more prominent thing happening right now. MLB Lockout. Little bit of an update here because we are getting towards the very, very, very dangerous area when it comes to not being able to start baseball on time, and that's awful. For 2 guys wearing Yankees hats, we just promoted the Mets podcast. We could talk all the shit we want and all about the players. There might not be a start of a season on time because of what's happening. Gooch, what do you know?
All right, so they haven't met since the last time we've updated on the lockout, but I'm pretty sure that there's some meetings scheduled this week. We're in the final hour now because spring training is basically pitchers and catchers, I should say, are typically like 8-9 days out if the things were going as normal. But we were talking a couple weeks back about this, and I can't even believe that I didn't bring up this fact. Whereas, say they started baseball tomorrow, say they got everything agreed, which is obviously impossible at this point because there is some sticking points, which I'm not going to get into.
Is this the thing you were talking about yesterday?
What?
Well, I'm cutting you off because this is really good.
But there is a lot of things that they have to cut through right now where they haven't even brought to the table yet because it's like their firm sticking point that they won't even negotiate on. And those are typically the things that, have these owners and players walking away from things. Right now, they can't afford to walk away because, like I said, we're about 9 days away. Now, if they fixed everything right now and they announced that tomorrow, we could proceed with business as usual. If you really think about things, like where a lot of these free agents going to report to, there's a lot of major players, star players that aren't even on a team.
Crazy to think about.
Pitchers and catchers, you need time to stretch these pitchers out. It's not like you could just go play. Guys will be getting hurt. It will have a major effect on the season. I can make my prediction now that if they shorten things, which I expect that they will in terms of spring training, even by a week or so, you're going to see a little bit more injuries. You're going to see a lot of one-year contracts for pitchers because there's no offseason. The offseason was cut short. I'm sure there's a lot of deals in principle in place, and the winter meetings set up a lot of things, but I'm very interested to see how this is going to play out. When
Name one free agent right now off the top of your head.
Freddie Freeman.
Crazy, right? Freddie Freeman. Hey, guys, pitchers and catchers report. And he's got his bags packed, and he's like, where do I go?
Yeah. So
like, he doesn't have a home right now. Like, there's no home.
And the thing about this is that the players union are clearly in a tough spot because while they have an obligation to play the long game for the future players and maybe for the younger guys that will be there in the next time negotiations ramp up. Major League Baseball is in a position where they're almost like the government, where they could understand that a 20-year plan, 30-year, even 50-year plan is kind of where they're okay with. They're okay playing the long game, and they kind of back the players up against the wall last time. And they set them up. Now the players are like, well, we're not budging on that. And it has a lot to do with the collective bargaining, the luxury tax, and things like that. There's a lot of language back 16 years ago, I think, where the players got screwed over on that, thinking they were winning. And the owners, now are in a position where they're not going to buckle on that because when it comes down to, like I said, they control the narrative with the media and they could play the long game. The players are under the gun right now because you're losing money. You're losing years off your career. You're losing a season. If you're in a prime right now, or you're a free agent, you want to go get paid, right?
Right.
So you're more likely to be like, well, I really don't care what happens 20 years down the line. Like, I want to play baseball for my career. And that's the standstill that we're at.
So what do you think?
I think personally, if I was to guess, and this is just a guess, I know that there's a lot of money on the table, so they're going to get this done for that reason. The owners typically don't really like to talk about being at fault for anything or willing to have a stoppage. But in this case, they're actually outing themselves and saying, like, we will 100% move the season back. We'll cancel the season if we have to. I know that's not going to happen because, as I said, there's a ton of money on the table here.
Right.
But I would say at the earliest right now, mid-May. Mid-May is when you'll see baseball actually start.
We're going to lose the month of April?
100%.
You really think so?
If they started right now, which they're not going to, you would have to have the rest of the offseason. Then you would have to have a spring training situation go down where you could extend.
Spring training is too long anyway, to me. It's like 30 freaking games.
Based on what?
Something crazy.
You realize that
Cactus League,
where in
League,
football they might have preseason games and you could say that it's irrelevant and so people are on both sides of that. I think it's irrelevant. I think it's a money grab because season ticket holders have to pay for those things. In spring training baseball, it has nothing to do with the money. I'm sure that there is a little bit of revenue involved for these teams that are selling whatever they're selling tickets at.
It's like they're playing at minor league ballparks and shit just to kind of.
It's all in Florida. They're not at their home park. It's like they're playing in a league against guys that you understand how spring training works.
Yes.
I'm not going to break that down.
But
it's not for money. It's to get pitchers ready. It's to get these guys ready for the season. Baseball, you can't just say, go throw 100 pitches on April 6th. Be like, wait, no, I haven't thrown 100 pitches since September.
There's got to be a ramp up period. But again, I think it's a little, I don't know, might be too long.
No.
Kyle coming in. Spring training is uber corny. Skip it. Spring training can be 72 hours long. And look, for entertainment value, there's not going to be times where I'm sitting like, I can't wait to watch.
That's a far worse take than anything I've ever heard Kyle say. Especially, well, no, he has some decent takes, but his bad one today wasn't that bad. This one right here, that spring training could take 72 hours, is just crazy.
Oh man! All right, well, it's going to be a long time. So the update comes from Gooch, and of course, as we get closer to that, we'll have to dive more into that. But there wouldn't be a episode with the Chop Sports Daily without a little controversy. Today's controversy comes from our friends over at ESPN. ESPN dropped the top 100 MLB players of all time. Gooch saw it, threw up everywhere. We had to clean it up. It was gross. Tina got a mop. It was just disgusting. And you haven't eaten yet today, so it was just clear and just disgusting.
Stomach bile.
So they came up with a list. I'm not, for the love of God, I'm not going through
Yeah, I'm not going to go through
100 to 1. Not doing that.
I'm not going to go through 100 things here. You don't even have to name anything. You don't have to like read off the list because people could access it.
So glad I wrote this down.
Read off your list, Dave.
No, I'm not read off the list. I just a couple things that jumped off the charts of me, but there was a couple that really rubbed you the wrong way, and I wanted to bring that up of why certain players are ranked higher than others.
I find it almost impossible to believe.
I think Ken Palman says already this list is embarrassing. He's
it's very bad. As a Yankee fan, I'll say this right out of the gate that Derek Jeter being ranked 28th and Albert Pujols being ranked 30th is the most nauseating thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm a big Derek Jeter fan.
Hence the graphic of
I'm a big Derek Jeter fan, if not the biggest. But Albert Pujols is arguably the best right-handed hitter since Hank Aaron, and you could make the case maybe that he was better than Hank Aaron. Just
in his prime, yeah.
You know, Albert Pujols, to me, come on, bro. It's not like Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter was a good fielder, but it's not like Derek Jeter was Ozzie Smith out there. He was a clutch player, has good counting stats, a lot of wins, but Pujols has championships based solely on him at that point. He was just an impossible out in a big spot. Albert Pujols, for a stretch of baseball, was the best thing that I've ever watched play. Besides Barry Bonds.
You're bringing up Jeter was good in the field, right? And he was a good fielder. And, you know, almost was he a career 300 hitter? I think he was.
Yeah.
301 or something. Something you brought up just now of being a good fielder would put you in the top rankings of all time, being a good fielder.
Well,
somebody brought something up last week, and then I talked to my dad about it after that. And somebody brought up Ray Ordonez should be in the Hall of Fame, right? And I'm just like, oh my God.
No.
Listen, hear me out. I was like, the guy couldn't hit for shit, right? And he's like, yeah, but his fielding was incredible, right? What? You're not even letting me get through
I know.
fucking point.
I'm speaking to whoever this person was through the podcast or through the show right now.
Whoever the person was?
That stop. Ray Ordonez?
Well, yeah, somebody on here says I won't watch another episode, another game of baseball until Ray Ordonez is in the Hall of Fame.
Was it Scoop joking? Hopefully,
I don't remember. But all I'm saying is, if a guy like, huh?
It was Kyle.
It was Kyle. Oh, it was Kyle. Shit. All right. Anyway, so Kyle said that, tongue in cheek, joking, whatever. But David Ortiz just got into the Hall of Fame for being just a good hitter, great hitter, even with his numbers, right? Could we ever see just a great fielder and not a good hitter? Well, the one that comes to mind is like Ozzie.
Yeah, Ozzie Smith is in there. The one guy that I would say you could make the case for how great he was in the field is Omar Vizquel, because when you look at his counting stats, he was definitely a compiler. He's, I think, approaches the 3,000 hit mark. So he's almost at the threshold that would seemingly at certain points in time guarantee you a spot in the Hall of Fame, but he played for 40 years.
Hawaii Mike coming in. Omar Vizquel says no.
Yeah. So basically he's arguably as great, if not better fielder than Ozzie Smith. Ozzie Smith was definitely a better hitter and a better play overall, but yeah, or Omar Vizquel says no. Yeah, he's not in, and he's not going to get in. He actually got a decent amount of votes at certain points, but never enough. He's been kept on the ballot.
I was just curious if there's ever going to be one of these guys that are unbelievable in the field where they hit like 220 lifetime or 240 lifetime, and they're considered to be Hall of Famers because their Golden Gloves are they're stacked.
To go through this now, though,
yeah, go ahead.
Right, you got guys like, all right, Babe Ruth being number one. I don't know. I guess because he's like the old Shohei Ohtani, but I just have a hard time saying like Babe Ruth. If that was a great lineup. I don't even think he was better than Lou Gehrig.
Like we just said, like Babe Ruth, was he known for his glove and pitching? No, he was known for crushing home runs. So he's kind of like David Ortiz.
He was a good pitcher, but I personally don't even think Ruth was better than Lou Gehrig. I can't sit here and talk about it though. Guess why? Because they played 100 years ago, literally. So I'm not going to really talk much about the guys that I wasn't privileged enough to watch play. Obviously, I have a little more understanding of Yankee history, but I will talk about Mike Trout being ranked number 15 overall.
This one I had a little bit of a weird feeling about.
I'm a big Mike Trout guy, and he's great. As great as he is on the field, he's just as great off the field. Story after story about this guy doing the
clean
right
dude.
thing.
Very.
You can't have a bad word to say about Mike Trout. Probably one of the most liked players in history, right? But the fact is, Mike Trout.
He's an Eagles fan, I think.
That's fine. The fact is that Mike Trout has never won a playoff game or a playoff series. I don't even know if he's ever made the postseason at this point in his life.
Angels?
Yeah.
Didn't they win a World Series with him?
How old do you think Mike Trout is? Was it Tim Salmon days?
Jim Edmonds?
Jim Edmonds playing man in center field.
I could have sworn he was in the
the
playoffs.
same
I don't know.
position
Maybe
as
I'm
Mike
wrong.
Trout. He might have been in the postseason once, but I know that they haven't had any playoff success in his career.
So he's wasting his life away in Anaheim or Los Angeles.
You know, and a large part of
California,
that could
whatever
be
the
due to the
fuck they're
fact that
calling
they
the
gave
Angels.
Albert Pujols $1 billion contract as he stares me in the face, pointing to Brad
Me?
Lidge. I think this is the Brad Lidge home run. No, he would be wearing his road uniforms. But my favorite Pujols moment, not to get off topic, is the Brad Lidge home run off the train tracks. Do you remember it?
I don't. Stephen Hairston coming in says Bonds is the GOAT. In this list, Bonds came in at number 8, which is so funny to me
Now,
because
yes.
ESPN's like, wow, Barry Bonds is the 8th greatest baseball player to ever live. But all the writers that wrote this article didn't put him in the Hall of
But
Fame.
here's another thing
Like,
too.
come on.
So if you're gonna give a guy enough credit to put him in your top 10, then let's give him the credit he actually deserves, because he's not
Exactly.
top 10. He's way higher than that. Because if you either leave him off the list altogether because of steroids, which is what they did with the Hall of Fame,
Mhm.
or if you're gonna put him at 8, put him where he belongs. Pete Rose is not on the list. I don't know if ESPN,
Pete Rose isn't on the list.
Pete Rose is not that I saw, not on this list.
Holy shit.
Now,
Ty
I
Cobb is, and I
understand
think
that-
he killed a guy.
I understand that he killed several people and maybe even his wife.
But he
That's a
batted
joke,
366
guys. He didn't-
career, my
yeah.
man. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Cy Young had 3,000 wins, but he started
Cy Young,
5
I saw
billion
that
games.
before. He has 511 wins, and I was like, dude, did he pitch every day?
Now I'm
Like,
confused if you think that Chipper Jones should be higher than 78, because I think that's
is he a
about
Braves
right.
guy? He might be a Braves guy. He has to be a Brave. Well, if you're a Braves guy, then you'll be happy to know that Greg Maddux came in at 14, and I don't buy that for a second.
Yeah, so Barry Bonds has to be higher. I would say
Randy Johnson at 24, he was one of the most dominant pitchers I ever watched. Like, and he killed a bird. Remember that bird that he fucking exploded?
yeah,
That's
how
a
is
real
he going to
thing?
get in the Hall of Fame if you kill a bird in public?
Is Johnson in the Hall of Fame? Has to be, right?
Yes.
I don't remember. I don't remember the
The
induction.
unit?
I forget.
Big unit.
Pete Rose should be in the top 5 according to Sam Grasso. He's the hit machine, bro. Like he's the
Now
like,
I'm looking at
it's
this.
unbelievable.
List. I see
Oh, there's
David
another one I got.
Ortiz. David Ortiz ranked higher than like Vladimir Guerrero.
Stop.
You
See,
can't with
that's-
that. You can't with that. You see a guy like Ichiro ranked higher than Vlad's too, which I think Ichiro and Vlad's were very similar. Only Vlad's hit bombs.
Sources have coming in saying that Chipper Jones pees sitting down. So that could be. It is not confirmed or denied. We'll see. But there's another one. See, I didn't buy at all.
I think Reggie Jackson's too high on the list.
Reggie-
Personally,
Oh, don't tell Jimmy that. Jimmy will come.
I mean
for
they
your
got Reggie
throat.
Jackson at 55. That dude struck out a lot. in a
Tony
time.
Gwynn at 44 is also disgusting, according to cousin Vinny. Like
All right, Nolan Ryan at 41. Or
they named a
42.
goddamn pitch after him.
Nolan Ryan, I think it was a Ken Paulman meme that was posted the other day. Nolan Ryan had 7 no-hitters, but he also had 23 starts where he took a no-hitter past the 7th.
That's fucking insane. So, all right. So I'm looking at, also at number 13, one of my favorite non-Yankees of all time is Ken Griffey Jr. I think this kid, if he didn't have the injury bug that he did, he could have been one of the greatest hitters of all time, one of the greatest fielders of all time, Willie Mays-esque. And they put Mays on this list as the number 2 player.
I have a hard time with Rivera's rank too. I feel like he should
Mo?
be lower. Yeah,
Where's he at?
he's 31, below Pujols. I think. Pete Rose is on the list. He's at 34. So if you're going to put
Oh.
Pete Rose on the list, then how is he 34? Like, are they being penalized just because they fucked up? But then you're still putting him on there, just not anywhere near.
Right. So whoever came up with this list is sitting there like writing it down like
say
Pete
Greg
Rose,
Maddux
Pete
is-
Rose.
Greg
I
Maddux
gambled.
Greg Maddux is too high. A-Rod's too low. Clemente's probably too low.
Stop
Derek Jeter's
it.
too high.
Kyle, see, the accusations like that make me disappointed in you because Ken Griffey Jr., if he did steroids, he would be recovering a lot quicker than what he was. He was missing full seasons with broken wrists and hamstrings and all this other shit. If he would have played upright the entire time, this kid would have smashed this home run record. One of the purest swings
Yeah, but
I ever saw.
Bro, he did get hurt, and you're right
lot.
about all that. And Kyle, you're wrong. I don't think Ken Griffey should be mentioned with steroids. But when we're like, oh, if he didn't get hurt, there's a lot of guys that if they didn't get hurt would have been challenging a lot of records as well.
Mike Piazza, number 81. Oh,
Well,
he's also a Hall of Famer. So that's another
I'm
thing.
surprised he made the list. He's a bitch.
Why? Because he doesn't want to hit with a bat?
No, because he's a bitch. Look at him.
That's the Yankee coming out of you there. I always like
Greg
Mike
Maddux
Piazza.
is definitely too high.
Ken Griffey's circle was way too big in the video game. Took up the entire screen. First of all, it was called Ken Griffey Baseball. Did you not think his circle was going to be the biggest one? Like, come on now. You didn't have to do anything. It could be a knuckle change, and you would still sit back and crack that shit. Oh, what a great game. Was that N64? I forget.
Ricky
I think it was
Henderson.
N64.
Ricky Henderson at 23.
Where's Mantle? Mickey
at
Mantle
7.
is at 7, where he belongs, with his number, at least. That's kind of cool. I don't know if that's any, whatever. Yes, the prettiest swing in baseball. He knows. Stephen Hairston knows. Like, I just wish Griffey had his.
Are you talking about Aaron Hicks? I love Aaron Hicks' swing, bro.
Yeah, it's very similar, very reminiscent of the Griff, the strut and everything when he goes yard. But the problem is another one. He is literally Ken Griffey adjacent, but worse. Because that's another clown. That
I
can't stay on
cannot
the
wait
field.
for baseball season now. Talking about Ken Griffey Jr.'s swing and then Aaron Hicks getting hurt.
Dude,
I'm
you know
ready.
what's funny?
I'm ready.
I know for a fact, and this is a known fact, that I will not even I can't contest this at all. I love baseball. And now I sound like Michael K. I love baseball. I love my Yankees. I have to learn a lot more about the entire league. But Gooch is on another planet with baseball. You know how I know that? Because the pages that he watches and shares and things that he literally gets off on are like the trajectory of a knuckle curve or some shit, or a slider. You see this?
There's
fucking video?
nothing
I'm
better
like,
than
what?
watching a split screen of you, Darvish, throwing his cutter or his two seam and then his slider and seeing how they start
He'll watch
exactly
that-
the same
he'll watch
until they're
that
like
for
4 feet before
hours.
the bat, and then they just go different directions.
It's pure, man.
It's called,
I love
it's
baseball.
called
dude.
baseball porn.
Yeah, babe. It is
Right?
baseball porn.
You're telling me that you can't sit there and just watch some guy take BP and listen to the crack of the bat? I fucking love it. Right? Go follow Pitching Ninja. Go follow Coach Herber. These are great. Also, I have a lot of these for football too. Like the
Wide
receiver school,
is
DB.
my favorite.
There's something about DBs locking people down. DB
Harrison
clan.
say I can't front. I love Hicks to swing too. Yeah, when he's on the field, that'd be great. And then he swings, right? You're like, wow, what a beautiful swing. And then the update in the next inning, like, he's left with a tight oblique.
I can't
So
wait
he's
for baseball
always
season.
hurt.
This was an important episode for me because now
Gets the juice is flowing.
Yeah, got the
Baseball's
juice flowing.
back.
In
We
case
just need
you,
baseball
you
back.
guys saw in the group chat the other
Oh,
day, I
God.
sent out the
rankings.
ESPN updated their fantasy baseball sites. The draft is now set. So yeah, anybody that's a fantasy baseball guy, get out there and start doing your early homework.
Oh,
We got,
Mike, you might get ripped for that one. Did Jeff Bagwell make the list? He's a top 5 first baseman in my opinion.
well, he's not, and he's not on the list. I don't think.
I don't know.
Definitely
I
not.
don't know if he's a top 5 first baseman. I mean, that's
I don't know that Jeff Bagwell will be a top 5 first baseman if he was playing now. Right?
right. I love Bagwell. I love his stance. He had that
No,
low
I'm
stance.
not. I'm not bashing Jeff Bagwell.
I
But
love Bagwell.
he was probably also juiced to the gills.
I mean, him, Biggio, they're all
Yeah.
that Houston. You're surprised. I'm surprised that Astros team didn't win more before they cheated. Way back in the day when they had Bagwell and Biggio and those guys over there.
Vinny, don't you start with this 32-man chop sports
Oh,
fantasy
Jesus
baseball.
Christ. No, it's
I
an
will kill you,
exclusive-
sir.
Exclusive league that Gooch came up with, but I guess you can kind of run as many as you
maybe
want.
I'll do something. But the thing is, baseball is such a commitment that it's
It is,
hard
man. It's
for
a
me.
lot. That's why I don't do it.
I've been in multiple baseball leagues in seasons, and I could go up to 2 maybe right now, but I'm not doing any more than that. And this one, it takes a lot of your time, the one that I'm doing. So
Is the draft at the studio? Sam wants to know. Are you Sam in it?
Yeah.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Then
yes,
we can.
yes,
Yes,
we will be doing the draft at the studio
Hell yeah.
for those that are not living in Alaska, Toast. So Toast won't be here.
Oh, you remember the last time we had Toast call in for a draft? He was very happy to be there. He's like, "Oh, Dak's gone. Oh,
No,
I don't want to be in this thing
if
anymore."
if you're not sure about Toast is my main competition in this
Toast
league.
is
I'm fully aware
like
of that.
Rain Man.
Yeah.
Like he's got stats on stats on stats, bro. Like,
And,
it's-
he's got to get his underwear at Kmart. And if he doesn't,
what?
You don't know Rain Man? Come on, bro. You can't make a movie
Oh,
reference
Kmart.
with
Yeah,
with
shit.
Rain
My
Man
dad
and
says
then
that all
not
the time. I'm
understand
such
it.
an asshole. Damn, forgot about that one. But yes, baseball's here. That list is a little bit of a atrocious production, like Pedro being 11. F Pedro. But other than that, I think I do agree. Like Greg Maddux was there at 14. Yeah, another one. Roger Clemens, 17. Like, okay, but he's not a Hall of
Yeah,
Famer.
Pedro at 11 is a little high, even though I think when Pedro was at his best, he's the best right-handed pitcher I ever saw. That one season was so dominant.
Oh, Vinny, Daily Fantasy Baseball Podcast Show. Oh man, now you're just going down this rabbit hole of things that are possible that we can do here. We could definitely do something like that. Daily though, that's a big commitment. Oh boy. All right.
Oh, this is
What?
This is true about Toast. I can verify this.
Actually, Toast is super weird about his clothes. That's spot on. He only wears super expensive socks that have R&L on them for right and left feet.
I have seen the socks.
You've seen them.
Oh yeah, when he
What's
was staying in our
going on?
house.
What is happening here?
He is Rain Man.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Scoop says we're all getting together for the Olympics opening ceremony tomorrow on NBC. I think I did get a text from you, Scoop, while we're doing the show. Oh, there's curling on right now, or something to that
He's
effect.
been updating us on the curling scores in the chat.
You know what's funny? When I worked with Sean, there was a guy. He's actually, he supports Chop Sports. I don't know if he ever watches the show live. Jason, I think he was in a local curling league. Like they're out there. Like, yes, it's an Olympic sport, but yes, there's rec leagues. Like we're all sitting here playing softball in the spring while this guy's with the curling thing. That's some intense shit. Let me tell you that right now. Scoop, third time mentioning the Olympics. Nobody responded. That's code for none of us care.
There's only a few Olympic sports that I give a shit about.
Oops.
Sorry, I started taking control because you were off to the side there.
Once they start letting the best athletes in the world actually compete in the Olympics in their respective sports, then we could talk about
the U.S. men's hockey team didn't even go.
But the Olympics is a bunch of exercises grouped together with people judging them on who exercises the best. And then there's a few sports scattered in.
See, I got that. Scoop came in and said, you should care about swimming to Kyle because he was, in fact, the Monmouth County's bottlenose.
I think it was, the Asbury Park Press named him the bottlenose dolphin.
Kyle, you need to put the synchronized swimming video back up.
Because he resembles a porpoise and the noises he makes when he enters the water.
Oh boy. Ken Paulman said there's a local club. So maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's what I'm talking about. My boy Jason V. I won't throw his whole name out there in case he doesn't want it. I'm really excited to see which foreign country can ass slide down an icy. Oh, dude, the Jamaican bobsled team's in it this year. Feel the rhythm. Feel the rock. Come on, man. That's great. I'm not going to watch it, but.
Cool Runnings was a great movie.
Dude, I thought we were having Steve, the website guy, called live from Beijing. Where the hell's the Olympics? Tokyo?
I have no idea.
You don't even know what the Olympics are?
It's
Shame on you.
Every 4 years.
What do you mean? It's just China.
It's just China.
But what does that mean? It's just
I'm pretty sure the Chinese government and the Major League Baseball owners are in lockstep right now on what they're doing. They're getting the Major League Baseball is getting their
pool holes down.
Their bargaining tactics from the Chinese communist government.
Oh no, there's always a chance of someone Sonny Boeing himself. You're terrible, Scoop.
God.
Holy shit, bro.
We've let these guys go at it too long.
Yeah,
let me know when wrestling is on, and then that's all I really care about in the Winter Olympics. They don't have football.
Yeah.
So. Next.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. Wait, Scoop.
That was the longest silence we've ever had.
No, I'm trying to look at the comments. Scoop, change your podcast from Cross Courtcast to Icy S. Talking about the Olympics. Scoop, you're coming in tonight, I'm assuming. Be sure to bring up the Olympics, by the way.
Scoop's taking notes.
I love it. All right, fellas and fellies, all you people out there listening, look, like the video, subscribe to this network, please. Or
is
this
female for fellas?
Yes.
Phillies.
I could have said felines. That's a girl. That's a girl cat.
Fellas and fellies.
Is that a girl cat or just a cat?
Just a cat.
Feline. I gotta stop.
First
of all, I have to eat. I have to eat before I do this show because I get delirious and it's just my blood sugar's low and I'm not even a diabetic. So I really goes off on a tangent. Anyway,
it's lunchtime.
It is lunchtime. Let's order some up. For everybody out there right now, please like the video, subscribe to this channel. Please spread the word. Okay, it's going to be a way for you guys to also enter the free Super Bowl box pool. Spread the word. Share this video out. Tell them to follow. And then they follow, and then they tag other people. We'll get into the rules as we go on, but look for the Chop Sports $50 box pool Super Bowl dropping in the Facebook group. We'll pin it to the top. Claim your numbers there. Don't claim them here. I don't remember what Ken said. I do know my brother's number. That's the only one I know. So Scoop, you lost that battle, I think, pal. So for Sturch and Gooch, and of course Dina, Anthony in the house. We appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Are we even doing a Lean Friday?
We're going to talk to Kyle after this.
See if we get Kyle's as back in studio, or at least to Zoom in, or whatever the case. We'll figure it out. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching.
A couple of notes, not necessarily about anything sports, but for Chop Sports, be on the lookout for the first ever Chop Sports BQ that we are going to have next to a tennis court, so I could beat the shit out of you three while getting drunk and enjoying good food. We will also try to set up some kickball, some basketball, maybe a 3-point shootout, and we're going to make it fun. Maybe we'll try and rent out a park like we attempted to do last year.
Dude,
but
okay. See,
look for these things.
None of this was discussed.
Planning ahead. This is like midwinter. Let's plan for the spring and get this done right. So, guys, I'm trying to gauge some interest. If there's interest in there, which I know there's going to be, let's set this all up. And then also Monmouth Park, once the ponies start going, we're going to set something up as where rent out one of those little picnic areas. So we'll get back to you on the details with all that.
Ooh, Kyle throwing in a free pick, a freebie here. Hawks plus 4.5. If Trae Young sits, they'll cover. So I guess you're going to have to wait. Ooh, wiffle ball tournament. Love that idea, Vinny. That's going to be fun, too. There's going to be a whole lot of cool stuff. And you know what? To be exclusive guests of this, you got to go join the Patreon right now. That's the VIP access we were talking about. Obviously, we have our members here, and they're going to, they're going to be there.
You get a free hot dog to keep in your pocket throughout the entire day.
Glizzies for everyone.
You get a pocket glizzy as your 5% or your extra bonus for being
there it is.
What is it? A dynasty member?
You don't even know them. God damn it. Fuck. Killing me, Smalls. All right. With that, we're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow.
The fucking bottlenose dolphin is going to drown on the tennis